Well, that was an adventure. I was putting you in my phone holder thing, my tripod, and my phone accidentally called 911 and I couldn't turn it off in time, and so I hung up, but then they called me back and they were like, is there an emergency here? And I'm like, no, sorry. Well, we have not done this in a while, so we're going to have a Fun Facts Friday off my grandson's calendar. His calendar is called Mental Floss Amazing Facts, and so just every once in a while on Fridays I'll read you some of these just for fun. In preparation for if I could talk, I might read them to you. In preparation for a safari in 1908, Theodore Roosevelt bought a snake-proof sleeping bag at Abercrombie and Fitch. Didn't even know they were around that far back. They've sure gone downhill since then. They used to carry that kind of stuff, and now they carry, I won't shop with them at all. Like years ago, I mean, it's been 10 years ago, maybe 8. They put out panties for little girls that said eye candy on the back of them. Little girls, little bitty girls. And I'm like, no, that's just disgusting. So I won't shop at Abercrombie and Fitch ever again. Public libraries outnumber McDonald's restaurants. Yay, I'm glad. It's only, let's see, 1, 2, 3 within probably a 10-mile circle of me, but there's about the same amount of McDonald's, so it's even where I live. Pablo Picasso's full name is Pablo Diego Jose Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno Maria de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso. Good grief. Although there are debates about the precise order. Wow, that's a lot of names. Can you imagine writing that on the top of your page of school? It'd be like, take up the whole page. On Diwall night, it's D-I-W-A-L-L, don't know what that is. On Diwall night, revelers gather together to play cards and gamble, a tradition that is meant to impress Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. In some cultures, it is believed that those who do not gamble on Diwali night are doomed to be reincarnated as a donkey. This sounds like an Indian type thing, Hindu maybe. A Nightmare on Elm Street character Wes Craven opted to make Freddy Krueger's iconic sweater red and green after reading in a scientific article that humans have an especially hard time processing those colors together. Okay, I don't watch those kind of shows. I don't like horror shows. I'll watch, like, I don't mind a suspense one, but I don't like horror, like blood and guts and things. In Japan, letting a sumo wrestler make your baby cry is considered good luck. There's even an annual festival for it called the Naki Sumo Crying Baby Festival. If you ever seen a sumo wrestler, I used to live in Japan, so I've seen some in real life. Those guys are just like, I mean, I'm not small, but they were probably 3 times me wide. Those guys are huge. And there's, you know, lists of the amount of stuff they eat, and it's just mind-boggling how much stuff they eat. Industrialist Andrew Carnegie was drafted into the military in the U.S. Civil War, but paid another man $850 to stand in for him, which was surprisingly common practice at the time. Can't do that nowadays. You get drafted, you gotta go. Fast food chain Wendy's chocolate frosty is actually half chocolate and half vanilla because owner Dave Thomas thought an all chocolate treat would be too overpowering a flavor when paired with their burgers and fries. Yeah, I never really was a big Frosty fan. I'm not a real big ice cream fan. When I was a kid, my dad didn't have his hearing in one ear, and somehow that affected his taste buds. And so he could only taste like really salty, really sweet, stuff like that. So he liked textures. So even as a kid back in the 50s when people didn't really do this, we always had a couple half gallons of ice cream around because that was his his treat, because it's the texture and it was sweet enough where he could taste it. He'd probably like salted caramel like they have nowadays, but they didn't have it back then. So we always had ice cream around, so it was no big treat to me. So, and I'm kind of not 100% lactose intolerant, but if I have too much, it gives me a stomach ache. So just never been a real huge ice cream fan. I mean, not that I wouldn't eat it, but like if I'm gonna have a piece of pie, I'd rather have Cool Whip on it than ice cream. If anyone asks you to go bobbing for pears, don't. The volume of some apples can be up to 25% gas, while pears are as low as 6%, meaning that in general, apples float and pears sink. Never heard anybody say anything about bobbing for pears, and I guess that's why. I should look around. This time of year, they have apples really cheap. And I'll make applesauce. Applesauce is super easy. All you do is peel your apples, chop them up, throw them in a pan with a little bit of water, and then I just add a little bit of cinnamon, and that's it. You don't have to add any sugar. They're sweet enough on their own. You just cook them and mash them and cook them and mash them, or you can take them out and throw them through a food processor, but I usually just mash them. So it's kind of chunky still. It makes yummy applesauce, fresh applesauce, and it's super easy to make. And I just add a little water until I get it going, and then sometimes I have to add a little more. You just got to kind of watch it, and then after they get all soft, squish them all up, and there you go. Black cats may have less than stellar reputations in some areas of the world, but there are plenty of places where they are not considered bad luck at all. If one crosses your path from right to left in Germany, good things are on the horizon. I used to have a black cat. His name was Midnight, and he thought he was a dog, I swear. When I'd go for a walk, he'd go with me, and you know how you teach a dog to heel, where they stay at your right side, or whichever side you're handed, whichever side you have the leash on, and just walk with you. That's what this cat did. I swear. She thought she was, or he, I guess he was a he. He thought he was a dog. He must have been raised with dogs before I got him or something. Ooh, this is a long one. In 1905, a 30-year-old South Carolinian named Essie Dunbar suffered a fatal attack of epilepsy, or so everyone thought. After declaring her dead, doctors placed Dunbar's body in a coffin and scheduled her funeral for the next day so that her sister, who lived out of town, would still be able to pay her respects. Unfortunately, Dunbar's sister didn't travel fast enough. She arrived at the cemetery just as the last bits of dirt were being thrown atop her grave. Incensed and wanting to see Essie one last time, Dunbar's sister ordered the body removed. When the coffin lid was opened, Essie sat up and smiled. She lived for another 47 years. Wow, that's why I want to be cremated, right there. This idea of being trapped in, even though I know I won't be there, my soul will be with Jesus, all that, it still creeps me out. So I'd rather be cremated and not be stuck underground in a box. According to Plutarch, Alexander the Great encouraged his men to shave so that enemies couldn't grab their beards during melees. That makes sense. And it's gone from there on. Militaries, unless you're like undercover with the Taliban or something, they have to shave. They don't get to have beards unless they're like SEALs or Rangers or some of those guys that go undercover. King Louis the 11th. Didn't know there was a King Louis the 11th. It's an X and an I, that's 11, right? Of France, kept a pot of mustard with him at all times. That reminds me of that, remember that commercial where two people would go, the cars would go this way and they'd stop and a hand would reach out and says, "Do you have any Grey Poupon?" Which is a brand of mustard. It's supposed to be ritzy rich. The tube-lipped nectar bat's tongue is 1.5 times the length of its body. This bat uses its monstrous tongue to reach tasty nectar that's deep inside long-tubed flowers. When the tongue is not in use, it's stored in the bat's chest next to its heart. Inside, I guess? And then bend it back and it goes down and inside its chest. That's weird. I'm sure it's not that big a bat and it's not that big a tongue, but it's just, these things are so fascinating to me, these little weird tidbits of information. And we got a few more to go, unless you're getting tired of it. It's been 10 minutes. For centuries, Christopher Columbus has been erroneously credited with discovering North America, a continent where human civilization had already been flourishing for thousands of years. But even his title as the first European to travel to the Americas is inaccurate. Viking explorer Leif Erikson beat Columbus by about 500 years, likely landing in Newfoundland, Canada around 1000 CE. CE, is that the same as AD? I think so, it just stands for Common Era. I knew that. I think most of us now know that Vikings hit land before Christopher Columbus. In 1964, before they hit it big in America, the Rolling Stones recorded a jingle for Rice Krispies titled Jukebox. Wake up in the morning, there's a snap around the place. Wake up in the morning, there's a crackle in your face. Or just some of the lyrics. A crackle in your face? That's weird. Okay. The sum of all the numbers on a roulette wheel is 666. Ooh, the devil's game. The Hubble Space Telescope must be extremely steady to take clear images of faraway objects. It can focus on a target without deviating more than 7/1000ths of an arcsecond, equivalent to the width of a human hair seen 1 mile away. Wow. Last one. In Stephen King's book, The Shining, the spooky events are set in room 217 of the Overlook Hotel because Oregon's Timberline Lodge, which was used as the Overlook's exterior for some shots in Stanley Kubrick's film adaptation, does have a room 217. They asked for that room number to be changed so the guests wouldn't avoid that particular accommodation. According to the hotel's website, curiously and somewhat ironically, room 217 is requested more often than any other room at the Timberline. People just want creepy stuff, I guess. There's a lot of these had kind of that Halloween-y feel because they were October ones. Let's see, what's coming up? My Stitch Fix ought to be here soon, next week sometime. On the 10th, I've got a birthday collab I'm doing. In fact, I'm going to film it right now after I film this. My Luxury Diva's on the way. I keep trying to remember and do Mass Mondays, but I always forget. And this Mass Monday, I've got my Grandparents Association meeting, and then we're going to decorate a tree. The school buys trees, and then all the different clubs and organizations decorate them. You've seen some of the ones we did. We did a Grinch one year, and we did a gingerbread man one year. We've done different ones. This year we're going to do nativity scenes, just, little ones, not... it's going to be beautiful. I may stay and help decorate, but there's a lot of new people that want to do it, and I've done it every year for years, so I mean, you don't need 15, 20 people decorating one tree. So if there's too many people there, I'll probably just go let them have the fun, because I've done it lots of times. Because for a long time, there was only like maybe 10 of us. And then all of a sudden this year, it's grown to like 30, 40 people in this Grandparents Association, which is great. But, you know, the 10 of us have been doing stuff every year for years. So we're going to step back and let some of the new people get a chance to do some of the fun things. Alrighty, that's it for now. Love y'all. I'm sure I'll come up with some more fun stuff. If you haven't seen me before, or haven't subscribed, love to have you. I do mostly unboxings. I do a lot of collabs and giveaways. I do Fun Facts Friday, like I just did, Mask Mondays. I do cooking sometimes. I'll do crafting sometimes. Mostly it's unboxings with a few other things sprinkled in here and there. Alrighty, gotta go film that other one for the it's a November birthday collab. Everybody with November birthdays, well, not everybody in the world, but you know, quite a few of us with November birthdays. I think there's 18 of us. We're all doing some kind of a video. Some are doing shopping, decorating. I'm making a cake, Tres Leches cake. Yum, yum. So come watch all of that, and we're all having giveaways, so it'll be fun. Alrighty, I'm going tomorrow to meet my kids for a birthday lunch with all my kids, and I haven't seen some of them in months and months and months, so that'll be great to see them. I miss seeing them. I just got a tornado watch going on, but the watch is the maybe thing, the warnings, the go get in your bathtub thing, or go get in your basement or whatever. So it's just a watch. So we're supposed to have a lot of rain and wind and hail and all that kind of stuff. And I can't put my car in the garage because I've got all those stones I got for free in front of the garage. So even if I wanted to put my car in the garage, I can't. So hopefully it doesn't hail, because I don't want my car to get all hailed on. But it's made it this many years. It's a 2008, so that's what, 14 years old. So it's an old girl, but I don't want her getting hailed on because she still runs like a top. All right, have a good weekend. It's Friday. I hope y'all enjoy your weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.